In this video, I'm going to talk about all the different T-nuts that are available out there for climbing wall T-nuts, how to install them with tips and tricks. Let's get into it. First, let me throw up my tools here. This little toolbox has been pretty handy when I get to move around like this. So I've got a piece of scrap 3/4 inch plywood right here. This is the type of plywood that you would use. This is actually fairly soft for a climbing wall, but it is something that would be commonly used for a climbing wall, specifically a home climbing wall. If you're doing a commercial climbing wall, you'd probably want to have something that's a little bit stronger than this stuff, but for a home climbing wall, it'll work great. And for this purpose of installing the T-nuts, it's going to work fantastic.
Hi.
The first T-nut we're going to talk about here is the most economical T-nut. This is a 4-prong T-nut. It's a pound-in T-nut. The drill bit size that you want to use for that is a 7/16, and I like to use a spade bit like this one here, and I'll talk about that when I go over all of the drill bits. The next most common is a 3-screw round base T-nut, just like this one here. It has a 5/8 inch barrel on it. That's the part that has the threads. It's very, very common for climbing wall installation. Now we're getting into the more specific T-nuts for climbing walls here. These are both by Escape. This one with the round base is the commercial T-nut. It has 2 screw holes because you don't actually need the third one. This is going to save a little bit of time on the installation, and well, I was going to say that the base is wider, a little bit wider, but it's not. However, the barrel is a little bit taller, so you're going to have a little bit more of a barrel, a little bit more threads right here in the commercial one. Now the industrial T-nut by Escape, it has a little bit different pattern on the back side of it. 2 screws, and these screws are set out a little bit wider than your regular round base T-nut. That's going to allow it to have a little bit more torque. It also has a space in this barrel right here where there are no threads it's designed to help line up the bolt a little bit better, reducing the chance of cross-threading. So this is the bee's knees of your T-nuts. If you want to go all out, no expense spared, industrial T-nut by Escape, I have these linked in almost every single one of my videos, and they will be linked in this video where you can pick some of these up. So there are your T-nuts, the size that you want when you are here in the United States or when you're in an area that you're using standard American English sizes. It is a 3/8 by 16 T-nut. That is the most common. Now, if you are in Europe, it is an M10, and I don't know what pitch it is, but it's an M10, and I never use them. So, but that's what you want, is an M10 if you're over there. So there's T-nuts. Let's talk about the drill bits. There's a couple of different drill bits that I would recommend using. The spade bit is a really nice bit. I find that these bits here, I'll grab a bigger one so you can see it a little bit better. They have less blowout when you're drilling your T-nut holes. We have these little wings right here that stick out that allow the outer edge to be cut before the rest of it, which is what reduces your chance of blowout. So when you're looking for them, like I have this one here, it doesn't have that tip on the outside, but it's pretty flat. This one is going to give you a little bit more blowout than, say, this would, but they're still pretty nice. When you're drilling with these type of drills, drill from the front toward the back, because your blowout is going to be on the back of the panel. There are other ways that you can reduce the blowout. You can put another sacrificial board on the back side of your panels that will stop the blowout as well. But I don't think it's necessarily worth it if you're having the blowout part on the back. It's not going to be that big of a deal. They do wear out, especially if you're using Baltic birch. So get several spade bits in the right size and go to town. And when they're dull, you just throw it away and grab your other one. The drill bits that are really common, but I'm not a big fan of them, are your typical just drill bits like this. This is great for doing other things. It's not the best drill bit for drilling holes in your plywood for your T-nuts. You're going to get the most blowout using these type of drill bits unless it has a brad point where you've got those little wings on the side. What about the sizes? When you are using a 4-prong, most economical T-nut, you definitely want to use a 7/16 drill bit. Okay, so I got a 7/16 drill bit right here. The reason why is you want to have this barrel snug. So when you push this in, with a 7/16 drill bit, you are supporting the side of this barrel as well as these prongs that are helping it stay in place through that friction. When you're using the commercial one here, or the 3-screw round base T-nut, I would still recommend using the 7/16 drill bit. However, you can get away with going up to as big as a 1/2-inch drill bit. If you've got the industrial T-nut right here, you're going to need to do a 1/2-inch drill bit. So this is the only one that requires a 1/2-inch drill bit. The ones that screw in with the round base, you can get away with using a 1/2-inch, but I would recommend using a 7/16. And if you're going with the 4-prong, you're going to run into issues in the long term, so a long game plan, if you're using a 1/2-inch drill bit. Sure, you could build it and it'll work just fine for a few months to a year, depending on how regularly you're moving around your climbing holds. But it's going to fail sooner if you would have just used a 7/16 drill bit. Let's go ahead and drill some holes, and we'll install all of these T-nuts, and I'll talk about some of the techniques and tricks that you can use to have a good T-nut install on your climbing wall. Now, it is really, really easy to just throw it into your impact driver, and it'll work just fine. You will have a little bit more blowout using the impact driver with these, but it is, if you have a drill handy, use the drill, because it's going to be better on your drill bit and it's going to be better on your panel. We don't want to put holes in Mama's table. All right, let's take this out. We'll put this last. Ooh, that just killed my battery. Let's throw that over there. This one's almost dead too. Let's back this out. These Diablo bits, man, they are aggressive. So you know what I'm dealing with. We got a bunch of blowout right here. They're all about the same. I was a little bit nicer on that first one. The faster you go, the more blowout you have. To get rid of that, so we don't want to install that, our T-nuts dealing with that. We're just going to take a sharp edge. I've got a scrap piece of plywood here. Normally I would like to use a sanding disc, but I didn't grab that. So we're just going to come through with that sharp edge, and we're going to knock off all of those pieces that are sticking out. First one up here is your 4-prong T-nut. Now you can put a little dab of construction adhesive on the barrel right here, and that is going to allow that to stay in more. Now the easiest way is to install these when your panel is not hanging up on the wall. So you can have it up against a flat surface like this. You take a nice beautiful hammer like this one and you just smash it in there. That's the easy way. let's talk about if this was up on your frame already, you've drilled all the holes, now you need to install your T-nuts. This is definitely the harder way to do it, but there is a way to do it. So we're gonna pretend like this is up on the wall and we can't hit it with the hammer. We've got to suck it in a different way. And we can do that. Take a scrap piece of board. Okay, we're gonna drill a hole in that. I just want to go right here in the middle. So now we've got our 4-prong T-nut put in here. We're gonna take our sacrificial piece of plywood with our 2-inch bolt and a washer. And we're just gonna go from the front side and we're gonna thread that in. Now that that's threaded in and it's holding, we're gonna take an impact driver with a 9/16 socket on it, and we're just gonna hit it from that front side. It just sucks it right in, and then we can pull that bolt out. So that's installed there. There's a couple of different ways for you to install it. Now the cool thing with these screw-on T-nuts are all from the front side. These two are going to be the exact same as far as install. It's just one has one more screw than the other. So we're going to get rid of that because that one screw does add up. If you have 1,000 of these T-nuts, you're going from installing 3,000 screws to installing 2,000 screws. And there is a big difference there. So we're going to take that commercial T-nut from the back side of the panel, and we're just going to press it in. This is a 7/16 drill bit that I put in there, and it fits just nice and snug, and we want it to be firm. So 7/16 drill bit, push it in there. Super simple. There's nothing to it. When I'm installing a lot of these, I like to have about, I don't know, a handful, not a big handful, maybe 10 screws in my hand, and I can go fast. Now I'm going to install this escape climbing industrial T-nut at the same time, so it will not go into our 7/16 hole. Okay, it's because this metal is thicker. It has a thicker barrel, so it has to have that 1/2-inch hole. See how nicely it went in there? It went in there nice and firm. It's really nice. We've got some stuff sticking out the front here. All right, so let's go ahead and put in these screws. You get a few in your hand, and you're going to, with one hand, the opposite hand that you're working your impact driver, move those screws around so you can get them going quick. Woo! I'm out of practice. After you install about a couple thousand of these, you get pretty quick with the screws. It's been a while. Come on now. Also like to get the hex head screws. It works a lot better. You can go a lot faster. So if you're installing a bunch of these, look into getting the hex head screws instead of the Phillips. So there you have it. Your 4-prong, your commercial T-nut, which has 2 screws, your regular round base screw-in T-nut, which has 3 screws. Not better than this one, though. I think this one is actually better than this one. Okay, and then the ultimate best one is this guy right here, the industrial T-nut from Escape. It's got 2 screws, so it's easy for the install, and it's a little bit more robust and specifically designed for climbing walls. I hope that this helps. If you have any questions, comment down below. If you know somebody that is wanting to build a climbing wall, share this video with them. They may already have this information, but they may not, and it will really help. So I hope that it's helped. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you next time right here on Climber Dad.